pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First of all, welcome everybody. Have you all had a chance to look over the minutes of the previous meeting? Any questions, additions, changes?
Motion to amend.
Got a motion to approve?
Second.
A motion to second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Monthly bills, everybody had a chance to look over our bills? As you probably noticed, our jail bill was up quite a bit.
Should have just broke the check out for the 30,000 for that.
Yeah, a lot of credit this year.
Yeah.
I think you guys are responsible for sitting back there.
I think they are.
Yeah.
But, anyway, we hope, I think that changed a little bit. Didn't Jerry, did we lose a couple, or something, it'll go down a little bit?
A little bit, yes. A little bit. That's better than going up a little bit.
Anyway, you've got the bill, any questions? What's your pleasure?
My pleasure.
Well, any other pleasure to it, pay it, yeah, they have to be done with it.
Make a motion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just second. A second, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. Treasury report?
Okay, I'll be reporting for March, and it'll be the monthly and the quarterly. So we'll start with the general fund. Receipts were $99,052.74. Disbursements, $158,198.33, leaving a balance in general, including CDs, $605,031.24. In the road fund, receipts were $4,828.76. Disbursements, $40,145.77, leaving a balance in road, including CDs, of $904,910.48. For the jail fund, we had receipts of $49,855.35. That includes the transfer. Disbursements were $35,528.49, leaving a balance in jail of $26,416.06. In LGEA, we had interest of $9.69. Disbursements totaled $5,017.32, leaving a balance in LGEA of $80,856.81. In our state grants, there were no pass-through monies received or dispersed, which leaves our balance of $37.21 in state grants. Ambulance receipts were $111,676.58. Disbursements, $72,966.75, leaving a balance in ambulance of $99,286.15. For economic development, we had interest of $143.40, leaving a balance in economic development of $225,268.63. For 911, receipts totaled $5,099.42. Disbursements were $13,609.21, leaving a balance in 911 of $8,343.55. For wireless, we had interest of $2.30, leaving a balance in wireless of $20,060.87. Tourism, we had receipts of $1,424. We had a disbursement for $84, leaving a balance in tourism of $38,126.07. In court facilities, we had interest of $81.73. We had one disbursement for some repair on the roof for $270, leaving a balance in court facilities of $128,111.91, and that's for March.
Heard the board, gentlemen. What's your pleasure? second, all in favor? Opposed? So carried.
The next time we have our budget transfers, and these are just transfers for the month of March, and they total out to be $76,277.01. And most of those are, we're borrowing for the jail.
Question? Any questions on? At your pleasure.
Say something, don't even quiet over
Accept the transfers.
So moved.
All in favor? Opposed? So carried.
The next item, it had one interfund cash transfer, and that was from the general fund to the jail fund, totaling $43,248.
Make a motion to do it.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second? In favor? Opposed? So carried.
The next item, I've got three budget amendments. This will be the second reading for ordinance 031711, and this is amendment 6, where we receive the excess fees from the county clerk in the amount of $43,532.62. This is the second reading. It has been approved by Department for Local Government.
That would make a motion to do that.
Yeah. Got a motion, a second, all in favor? Opposed? So carried.
Okay, so this will be a first reading, and this will be ordinance 041411, and this is amendment 7. And this is where we realize the unbudgeted receipts for the $3,000 in the recycling waste tire grant that we got for this year. And this is not the one from the state, but this is the one we are doing from the road part. So this was $3,000 that will go into 014602, solid waste tire recycling, and recycle the tire amnesty, count code 10015217366 for $3,000. And this is the first reading. And we've already got the check.
Check. Copy on the back. Good.
Pleasure, gentlemen, receive it. All in favor? Opposed? So carried.
And the next ordinance, it's the same ordinance, 041411. This is amendment number 8, and this is where we have realized unbudgeted receipts from the proceeds from the sale of ATS. This will increase the receipts of LGEA by $20,000. Account code 044731 for miscellaneous revenues, and increase the expenditure account 0454011718 for the park construction project shelter, $20,000, and this is the first reading.
Motion
Take it
accepted.
20,000 from ATS and go to the park.
Please,
We'll take it 20,000 from
we'll
ATS.
try to work
It's,
on it.
Is this
that's a
part of
good
the,
deal.
is part of the 50 on the other side of the grant that we have to go
Uh, No, this is actually just what we're putting in the budget to pay for what we don't have to finish. Yeah, is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
the
Yeah.
50,000.
Yeah, that's what that's, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Got a motion to receive that?
So,
Second? All in favor? Opposed? So carried.
And the last item I have is the quarterly report. Got that in your packets. It is balanced for the quarter, and we've already uploaded it, and the judge has signed off on that for the end of March 31st.
Motion received, the
So
quarter.
moved.
Second. Motion second to receive.
What I thought I made a motion.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Did we get a
Joe,
second?
yeah, I'll say second. Joe.
Second too. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Okay, we've got one item here on the old business, which is the second reading of the personnel policy. I think Spike has got an outline of that.
And I put in front of you two documents, and one, the first one we're going to be looking at has Galvin County ordinance number with the blank on top. Maybe somebody's going to have to put that there. You got that, Rick? And what we're trying to do, there's three things that we're doing inside this ordinance. On page 1, I've got there's a 1, and it has chapter 32 ethics ordinance. And then down there at the bottom, it says 2, the Gallatin County Fiscal Court Administrative Code. And then on page 2 near the bottom, I think it says 1 again, that should say 3. And that has to do with the personnel policies. If you remember, we had a summary reading on March 17th of these 3 updates. And you were given, back in February, we would call draft copies of the administrative code and of the personnel policies. Now, I put another document in front of you, and it looks like this says Chapter 32 Code of Ethics. That's the new Code of Ethics form. So that's going to be the first one. So reading from the one that's captioned ordinance is an ordinance updating the Gallatin County Code of Ethics and Administrative Code, including personnel policies. Whereas the statutes require annual updates of each county's administrative code, and whereas current Gallatin County Administrative Code, including personnel policies, was approved in September of 2000. And whereas current Gallatin County Ethics Ordinance has also not been reviewed for several years, therefore be it ordained that the Ethics Ordinance be amended and Gallatin County Administrative Code personnel policies be approved as follows in summary. Number 1, Chapter 32 of the Ethics Ordinance is codified in its entirety with sections covering definitions, and that's going to be, I'm summarizing from this one, definitions, standards of conduct, requirements of financial disclosure, nepotism, and the creation of a joint ethics commission of Gallatin County with the cities of Glencoe, Sparta, and Warsaw. And I went on and put the new nepotism section that reads, and that's actually in that ordinance, but I put it in here too. I'm talking about hiring members of immediate family is strongly discouraged. However, in those rare instances where it's beneficial to the county and or the office to hire a member of immediate family, under no circumstances shall the person receive compensation, benefits, or other job considerations not given to other employees of similar classification or job requirements. Also, for the members of the immediate family to be considered for employment, he or she must possess those qualifications required of other job applicants. If the hiring of a member of immediate family takes place, the county officer shall notify the Gallatin County Ethics Commission of his or her action. And the full text of that ethics ordinance is available for inspection at the county judge's office on Washington Street, Courthouse Square. The number 2 is the administrative codes. And that the Gallatin County Fiscal Court Administrative Code shall by this ordinance be codified in its entirety with sections as follows. Introduction, purpose, and authority. Chapter 1 covers the general provisions. Chapter 2 is the general administration. County judge, county departments, special districts, representation on boards and agencies, appointed positions, appointed or removal of administrative personnel and members of boards and commissions, procedures of administrative agencies. Chapter 3 is the operation of the fiscal court regarding meetings of the court, presiding officer, quorum, disturbing meetings, order of business, fiscal court minutes, rules of order, ordinances, orders, and resolutions. Chapter 4 covers the financial management, budget preparation, duties of the county budget committee, budget hearings and requirements, county treasurer functions, fiscal court administration by county judge, claims against the county. Chapter 5 discusses personal administration. Chapter 6, County Road Department, establishment of the department, duties of the road supervisor, the road department property, county road inventory and condition, the county road repairs, maintenance, miscellaneous requirements. Chapter 7 and 8 were omitted from the booklet that you saw in February. Chapter 9, purchases and contracts, authorization of county contracts, selection of vendors and contractors, determination of qualifications of bidders, prerequisite to use negotiated process, small purchases, hold harmless clause, disposition of county surplus property. Chapter 10, boards and commissions, maintenance of records of administrative agencies and county departments in regular meetings. Chapter 11, special districts, dissemination of information, dissolution of special districts, removal and appeal process, single county special districts, multi-county special districts. And the last chapter is Chapter 12, County Services, Police and Protection Services, Road Department, County Road System, Parks and Recreation, Planning and Zoning Regulations, Law Enforcement Policies. The full text of the new Gallatin County Fiscal Court Administrative Code ordinance is available for inspection at the Gallatin County Judge Executive's Office on Washington Street, Courthouse Square. Section 3 is a little shorter. It has to do with personnel policies. And shall by this ordinance, they shall be codified in their entirety with sections as follows. Introduction. Chapter 1, conditions of employment, selection, credentials, personnel records, filling vacancies, promotion, classification of employees, job description, performance evaluation. Chapter 2, basic guidelines and expectations, attendance and tardiness, personal conduct, outside employment and conflict of interest, sexual harassment, probationary period. Chapter 3, discipline, policy, demotion, suspension, termination of employment, resignation, layoffs, reinstatement. Chapter 4, attendance, holidays, vacation, and leave, including sick leave, Family Medical Leave Act, FMLA, bereavement leave, special leave, maternity leave, military leave, civil leave, court appearances. Chapter 5, benefit summary, eligibility, effective dates, premiums. Chapter 6, safety, general guidelines, and county vehicles. Chapter 7, mileage and travel reimbursement, expense reports, authorization, reimbursement. Chapter 8, internet usage and email policy, acceptable and unacceptable usage, communications, software, copyright issues, security, violations. Chapter 9, drug-free workplace policy. Chapter 10, grievances, policy and discrimination. Chapter 11, these are the addendums or attachments. There's evaluation forms, drug policy forms, employment agreement, drug policy, employee policy agreement form, internet and email agreement form. And the full text of the new Gallatin County Fiscal Court Personnel Policies Ordinance is available for inspection at the Gallatin County Judge Executive's Office on Washington Street, Courthouse Square. Now, after a reading of all three sections in summary, on the 17th of March 2011, the Gallatin Fiscal Court approved this ordinance for its first reading on that date. And after having made the ordinance in full available to all magistrates and at the judge's office for the time intervening, the Gallatin Fiscal Court approved this ordinance for second reading on the 14th day of April 2011. On proper motion, second, the ordinance would be adopted and will be effective upon publication.
Any questions, gentlemen?
Judge, do you spell out what immediate family means?
Immediate family is brothers, aunts, uncles.
Actually, it's defined in there.
Yeah, it's actually.
It says spouse, an unemancipated child residing in an individual's household, or a person claimed by the individual or individual spouse as a dependent for tax purposes.
Aunts and uncles?
They can be hired.
Yes, that is.
No, that's
not. No, apparently not. No. This outline for this actually came from the DOG, from the Department of Labor. Any other questions? One thing that you all had mentioned before we talked about the insurance, that in the old personnel policy, it specifically said that we would furnish single coverage insurance. We have since gotten away from that. We had put this back in here. I will make the statement. I think we made the changes. I made a note on here to make that change, that we will continue to provide family insurance as long as we can. I think we will be okay for this year. We've been shopping the insurance policies. They will be put in our budget, but we will do everything we can to continue that. And the insurance business is kind of up in the air right now, to say the least. We've got a couple of companies that we've probably narrowed it down to. We may have to tweak the deductibles and some of the co-pays in order to keep this thing affordable and to keep employees from having to dig in their pocket to pay for it. So as of now, we're okay with the insurance. Next year, we may have to change it. But that will be in that policy, in that personnel policy. And also, what will happen with this is every county employee will receive a copy of this and be asked to read it and ask any questions that they may or may not understand about it, and they will initial it that they have read it and do understand what is or is not required of them. Any other questions?
That pertains to you, doesn't it?
What's that?
You got it initially.
I have a motion to accept the personnel and policy administrative code and ethics all in the one ordinance. We'll be done. I got the motion. Second. Second. All in favor? Opposed? Question?
Chair.
Okay, I think that was all the old business. Under new business, as you all know, last year there were some radon issues that come up in some of our county buildings. There was some test canisters that was put out in May of last year and were to be collected in November of last year. We collected those in January, sent them off to the lab, and got the reports back. There were some areas of our public buildings that certainly need attention. I've got a copy of that report here. The morning that I got that back, I went to every office in the county that this affected. Josh will tell you that I was there. I gave everybody a copy of it. That day, they come to the office, we all sat down and discussed a game plan that we would address it. We have addressed it. I've contacted a company, it's Radon something, environmental cleaners. Their home base is out of Flint, Michigan. There were others here, but I could not get anybody to guarantee me that they could get these buildings to the safe level. This company did. They sent a representative in here from Indianapolis to every building. I gave him a copy of this test sheet. They are in the process of writing us a proposal of what it will take to mitigate the radon out of these buildings, and that will be with a guarantee or I will not accept it, and it also will be brought back before the court for review before I accept it. So I do not have that. They are working on that, just to let you all know where we're at with that. When I get that back, again, the public offices, you all will know about it. I will come straight to you. But anybody that's interested in looking at this report, it's on file at the judge's office, as all the other offices, I think, got copies.
Did you give any idea about how long it might take to get it?
Well, I called them, actually, Jeff, I called them last week, and I called them again Tuesday. They're working on it. I don't know what's involved with working on it, but that's what they told me. So I'm still waiting to hear from them. This will, as I've said before, this will be addressed. It will be taken care of. And it will be taken to a point where it offers no health threat to any person or employee of the county. So that being said, we're working on it. Okay, the other thing that we got the, as you all know, we had our audit. Some of you apparently we got our audit with two minor items. One was tracking pass-through money that comes through our budget. We in the past, and even as I was here before, we always put a zero in that line item because we really never knew what was going to come from the state. But the state is saying now, you've got to put a number in there, because if you put a zero, that means it actually don't exist. So we decided that we'll just put 50 or 100,000 and make adjustments through the year as we get state money or not. The only other thing, there was a couple questions on some of the credit cards. That was addressed by the treasurer. She has taken care of that. That's been rectified. And other than that, we got a pretty good rating. That too is available for anybody that wants to see it. Item number 3 is the county road schedule. I have talked to Northern Kentucky Ed District, and we have gotten, I'll get this in a minute. We have gotten a list of our county roads. There was some discrepancy, as you remember last year, about Church Road and Speedway Boulevard. Church Road, I think, was taken off of it as a county-maintained road. Apparently, there was just an oversight. It was left on the list. Speedway Boulevard was questioned. When we got the documents back out and thoroughly looked at them, there was a statement in there that basically said we were not required to maintain that until it was brought up to such standards. I spoke to Mr. Wright about it. I spoke to the people at the racetrack about it. I called the Ed District. I called the Department of Transportation in Franklin. There has been no violation here. I want you to know that there has been no monies that have exchanged, or we have not been funded anything because of this. But we need to catch this and correct it before that did happen. We've done that. I've made the correction. The racetrack does not have a problem with leaving it like it was. It's basically a public road, which the document states we can use it until which time it is brought up to standards. We are no way obligated to maintain that road. I don't want people,
Public road, not a county road.
public road, but not a county road. And I don't want people panicking, thinking, well, they're going to close the road. No, they're not going to close the road. That never was the issue here. The issue was the maintenance on the road. Like I said, the racetrack is okay with it. We're okay with it. The ad is okay with it. The Department of Transportation is okay with it. So I will make that correction with a motion from you gentlemen to do that, and I will send the corrected road list into Northern Kentucky Ad, and they handle it through the Transportation Department through that. So I do need a motion on that. They did ask for it.
I'll make a motion to do that.
Got a motion, second?
Second church line out for the second time.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Now, this is the great part about this job. We had the county cleanup last week. Everybody's seen what went on. We had, 12, 13, 14 dumpsters, 10 dump truck loads, over 15,000 tires. To me, it was a mess, but that's a good thing. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a mess. And I want to commend all you guys for everybody on the fiscal court. The road crew, Mike Satchel and the road crew worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the rain Saturday. We had the firefighters that volunteered and went around and cleaned up and picked up trash and garbage that different ones could not do. It was a great thing, and you know, how can you go wrong with something like that? And I hope again, you know, if we need to, if we can find the money to do it again in the fall.
Kenny, is there a chance we can get the prisoners to pick up litter on the right of way?
Yeah, yeah, we've been waiting for the weather to break a little bit to get this cleaned up. And we have got some prisoners out that have been cleaning. That will continue probably for the next 3 or 4 weeks before it gets too tall. So, and those guys are, you know, they're good workers. I'm all about using the prisoners. It's good for them, you know, and I'm glad that we've got them. I'm glad that Grant County cooperates with us in that program. The other thing that we've got is we'd had some mention, and I had talked to Jeff about it and seen what he thought. There were some issues about Highway 42 here, and I'll kind of let Jeff explain what complaints and stuff that he's got.
It's been brought up with the added businesses on this end of town, but with the passing zone and the speed limit the way it is, that especially with this rise out here, that it's dangerous and, you know, needs to be evaluated. I would like to make a motion that they evaluate the speed limit here and also look at the passing lane going into town on the west side.
Okay.
I wish you luck.
Yeah. Well, we've done a little, when Jeff asked me about it, when Jeff called about it, I said, well, we'll see what we can do. And basically, this is the first step. They said that they need something from the Fiscal Court that recognizes that this is a dangerous area. And that's what we're doing. And if we get that in a motion, I'll write up a statement and send to the Department of Transportation that we are concerned, you know, as a body of government, that we have had numerous complaints from the businesses and the citizens. In fact, we had one while we were standing right out here, the same issue. But Jeff's made the motion. If I can get a second on that, I'll proceed and do that.
I can agree with you, because I've been down here several times a day going to the water plant.
Yeah,
Sometimes you gotta keep an eye on it.
it's scary. It's scary.
To talk out somebody decides to pass at that time.
Yes.
The other thing I've got, the gentleman, Ron Hansman, they come down and describe our state aid money to us. I've got the paperwork on that just says we did see it, we accept the amount. I need to fill it out, send it in with a motion from the court that it's okay with you all, and that's what we'll do. So, anyway, can I have a motion to accept the find the necessary documents, send it in, get our money? All right. Who would the motion come from?
I'll make
Got a motion? All in favor?
I'm seconding it too.
All right. One other quick thing on here, we've got, we're about to move into new horizons here, I think, maybe, and the county is looking to tiptoe into the sewer business. So I've got Dick here to kind of give us a heads up, explain to the people what we're going to do, Dick, and kind of how the procedure and how we arrived at this point, and then I'll take the step forward.
Well, first thing, clarify, I'm not going to tiptoe through any sewers.
Not without a pair of boots.
Don't expect the county to. As you're aware, sewer board has been functioning for 2.5 years now. Started when the scenic view problem started. And we had great aspirations, you know, let's fix scenic view, and not only scenic view, but let's create a route that included 2 other sections of the county, including Carver's Trail and Hillendale. And as we started into this program, all of a sudden the state ran out of money, and you know, we had to kind of rethink some things. Scenic view is doing real well. Hillendale really never had a problem. They were just on the way, and it sure was convenient. Carter's Trail's got a problem. We do have some money left over, so we're going ahead. We kind of reduced our immediate project down to Carter's Trail, do that, most of it with the money that we've already got. That was the tobacco money that came in, and then we'll delay Scenic View and Hillendale and a couple of years to address that. And we had another issue just very recently. I don't know how many of you are aware of what problems have been at Willow Point, and it kind of came to us in the county with, I guess, a multitude of problems there. But one of the biggest problems is that when the developer passed away, a lot of the things just weren't getting done, and one of those was a private sewer plant that needed maintenance, and it's been over a year that that plant has been limping along now. It has had no maintenance, and the Department of Water is ready to shut them down. And so the trustees of the estate, trying to get things under control, has approached the county, and we're very optimistic. We've done some research on the plant. The plant's in pretty good shape, and kind of looking ahead, sewer, I think, is one of the areas the county has got to get into, and as the judge says, that's, you know, probably the next open key to development. And, you know, when you got water, electricity, and then, you know, today sewer is very much in vogue. So I think that's kind of what we want to talk about tonight. We'd like to get you on board and proceed and kind of take over and help the people in Willow Point. And we think the best way to do that is virtually to let the county take over the plant and then maintain it, and then charge the people there based on their water usage. We can parallel that with the water department, and we think we can handle it, and in fact even make a little revenue for the county. So pretty much the short version.
That's the short version. And,
yeah.
any questions, guys, on that? I know we're kind of going into unexplored territory with this, but what we don't want to happen, I think we've caught Willow Point before it has become a serious issue like it happened at Scenic View. And we don't want to wait and get to that point before we act. The trustees of the estate of Willow Point were kind enough to contact Spike and to give them a heads up of what was going on. So our thing was to act on it before it did become an issue. After reviewing the numbers and the potential that these couple little plants would give us, it may give us a start of some county sewer. And as most of you know, I've always been pro-sewer. My attorney here, he's always been pro-sewer. I've been pro-sewer. This can be done financially rewarding, I think, to the county based on Scenic View. We've got a pretty good system and got some people in place that can handle about anything that comes up with it. So to make this all legitimate is what I would like for the court to do is give the county attorney and I the authority to create a resolution to form a county-wide sewer board that can address problems like this and keep us out of trouble and not let stuff like this happen. Like I said, this is the first step. We by no means are a threat to any of the larger municipalities as far as their sewer plants. This is a start for us. But I would like to entertain a motion for a resolution to give Spike and I the authority per Kentucky statute to create a a county sewer board, and we'll see how the member will be set up, and just to address this, to handle the finances, and to avert these problems before they become one.
Is this the only one left of that kind?
That I know of, Dudley, it is, that I know of, it's here. There may be some smaller private individual plants, and there's some that I think have been shut down.
I didn't know.
But I think this is the last one. And my understanding, the good thing about this is the same gentleman that takes care of Scenic View actually was the keeper of the one in Willow Point, so he is familiar with it.
Well, when those people bought those lots, did they pay into any kind of fund to maintain that?
They do. They paid into a fund to have sewer. When Mr. Deathridge passed, things just fell apart, I assume. And, you know, some of it's been collected, some of it hasn't. We do have county water there. So that does give us something to...
Yeah, they are private, and they can't shut the people's water off, and that's their most effective control, so if we were to do it, then we would be able to do that.
I wonder what happened to that money that they've been putting into that
Well,
fund.
there's an account.
Is there?
The trustee that we've been talking to is in bankruptcy, so the corporation's in bankruptcy, and they have, I don't know, 1,000 plus or whatever, but they have monthly income coming in off of the customers. The problem, one of the problems is that it's about a 50% pay right now. It needs to be 100% pay. So if we were to take it over, we would have to clamp down to make sure that that would happen. But then we'd have even more money coming in. There's electric bill. The one thing, I don't know if I'm jumping in on it or not, but the one thing is we're kind of working under a time, there's some timetables. And in our phone conversation, we asked the Jeff Masilli, who was the representative out of the Florence office for the water people out of Frankfurt. And right now they're under a corrective action. You know, if you don't do this, then we're going to shut you down completely. And the bankruptcy trustee and the lawyer for the bankrupt and the two of us and Jeff Maselli, we had a phone conference, and he granted us, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, give us...
So we've probably got, what, about 10 days left on that or so?
Yeah, I think it's, was it to the 18th?
Yes,
Yeah.
to the 18th. And I think what we were going to do with that is, if I guess this is a go, would be that, you know, we wanted to make sure that it's good, but also make sure we're not jumping in over our head. But if everything is a go, which is what it's looking like, then we can switch the electric bill and we can start taking on some responsibility, then we can start moving in to collect these additional fees. Evidently, there's no big ticket issues. We want to double check and make sure of that. But right now, when the electric's running and the plant's running, but apparently there's something wrong with the chlorination.
No treatment being done?
There's no, well, I mean,
The affluent water coming out is
that's not acceptable.
not acceptable.
So that's got to be, the Division of Water is really pushing us time-wise to get that fixed, get that taken care of as soon as possible.
And one quick thing on that, sooner or later the economy will turn around. There are several lots available up there. That system is basically a gravity-fed system. There are areas right out on 16 that are heavily populated that at some time this system is capable of handling that. So, you know, if we walk slow, walk softly and carefully, I think it can be a good deal for the county and the people and the citizens up there. So, again, what I'm asking for is a motion for you all to let Spike and I set up a resolution to create Gallatin County Sewer Board, and that will be done per the Kentucky statutes and any regulations, and get this thing off the ground so we don't have the mess that we had at Scenic View.
I'll make a motion.
Got the motion? Second. Got a second. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Okay. Another quick item here, we've got the, if y'all remember, on our flex funds on the state, they sent me a notice that they are available. So I'm just asking you, as you drive through your districts, look at any roads that you feel may be critical to some attention. We'll compile a list. The state has said that they can even divert some of that to our county roads, so I just want you to take notice and do that for me. The other program that I've got notice of, the state has still got their bridge repair program. It's an 80-20. If you've got a bridge in your district that you feel is unsafe, let me know. We'll get the engineers out there. We've got an 80, up to $100,000, I should clarify that. Up to $100,000, the state will pay 80% of it, we pay 20. So if you see anything that out of the county again, please notify me. I've got the road supervisor and he's looking, but we'll all keep an eye on it.
They informed me last weekend that we can get 2 instead of 1.
Good.
Joe, you could back out on new bridges every night.
We're in pretty good shape.
The other quick thing is we did the online bidding again for the salt for next year. It looks like the Cargill is the low bid this year. They were at $70.43 a ton, which is up, I believe, about $5 from last year. And Lisa, you remember that?
64, 65.
Okay, that's up $5 or $6 from last year, but 1 and Loop 2, and what this is where the state is deeding these little connector roads, the right of ways from road back to the county. We've been doing the maintenance on them, which is part of the deal, but this basically makes it official. With your permission, I'll sign these, get them back to Frankfurt, and we'll do the any problem with on that one of them, there's a little spot on 1130, you all know where it's at, where they cut 1130 off. We agreed to take that as a county too. But if you just give me a motion to accept these, it's a formality more than anything.
Motion.
Got a motion? Second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. The other thing that I've got here, these are a couple of little things. This is a proclamation for Child Abuse Prevention Month during the month of April. I will brief this, but I do have a copy of this if anybody wants to see it. Now therefore be resolved that I, Judge Kevin McFarland, do hereby proclaim the month of April Child Abuse Prevention Month in Gallatin County. I urge all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and strengthening our community. I've got this here. Give me a motion to enter this into the minutes, and I will. Motion second. All in favor? So carried. We've got, yeah.
In the packet, Tracy's back there, she and I talked about this resolution. I know it was done kind of in a hurry and off the record. Are we ever on the record?
No, this will be on the record.
Okay. That's what I didn't know if you reported on that.
We had talked we had spoke I spoke to each of you all, and we were kind of in a negotiating mode for the ATS building, of which Griffin, and as I spoke to you all, you directed me to make the best and most reasonable deal that we could for the county and get it closed and get some people working, and that's kind of what we've done. As you all know, that building closed Monday. We've got people that are interested. We've got a fine addition to the county, and Mr. Griffin, who is devoted to creating some jobs for the county, and I think we all agree we'll assist that endeavor in any way that we can. So this is just the basically gave you the authority, or gave me the authority to go up and negotiate the deal that you knew about anyhow. So I guess Tracy, you've got a copy of this in your office, or we need a
I
copy?
have an original.
You have the
You would
original?
sign it, and then I
Okay.
signed a test, so, I mean, I can get it to
You just needed it, something so we could attach it to some minutes.
I just needed, yes.
That'll be fine. So I guess a motion and a second to basically give,
Re-resolve.
yeah, re-resolve the sale of the ATS building. We got a motion?
I have no problem with it, I'll make a motion.
Okay. Got a second?
Second.
All,
Yes, second.
I hate to throw you. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. I've got, Jeff, I think you, a couple of the magistrates had a couple of things, didn't they, that they wanted to.
Yeah, I had a new church in the community send an email, asked if I would just read this to the court. It's Harvest Baptist Church, a new Southern Baptist Church in York County, are looking for the opportunity to serve the county in many different ways. They would like to volunteer with services with any volunteer work they could do, like paint, clean, repair, anything to help the community. It says Harvest Baptist Church will have several missionary teams in the county this summer, and would like to have them serve the community in any way they could. They just want to make everybody aware that they were willing to help. And they just wanted to thank us for listening, and it's signed on here.
Sounds like a good deal. One other thing, and then, anything that you don't, anything? We got one other thing.
I want to thank Fiscal Court for the centerpiece that y'all sent for Mom's layout, I appreciate that. Lady.
Another thing we've got, and this was kind of a last minute thing to come across my desk late this afternoon. Winslow and I have been working with some people that are into some of the hydropower plants and the green energy and all the different ideas. We went to Lexington to talk to some people one time. Winslow has been in contact with some folks out of Oklahoma. And what I'll do is I'll give Winslow the floor to kind of explain this a little bit, what this is all about and what it entails.
It started with an application to apply for a grant for a possibility of getting some hydroelectric generated to use for inducement for somebody to come in that plant up there. And we applied for the grant in conjunction with the resolution you all passed on, the city passed on. And the grant was approved, but we never did execute a contract to initiate it because the people that we were dealing with, again, it's a towing company that does barge work and towing up and down the river. And when they found this company that we're working with now, it made what McGinnis was working on so insignificant that they decided that they were on what the board was called, because what this would generate was so much better and so much simpler than what they were trying to do, so they just dropped out. And we started working with the gentleman named Brian Nemo. He's worked already with the Corps of Engineers, University of Kentucky, the guy from the Department of Local Government was there, Duke Power Company, and the Federal Emergency Regulatory Commission issues license and approves these things. And before they would approve him having a site, he needed somebody like the county to be involved. The county's involvement would not constitute spending $1 million, being owning anything or being liable for anything. All we would be doing is handling the commodity of electricity, and the path would just be paper shuffling. We would get a nice chunk of change out of it.
We do?
The county would. We also talked to the gentleman about locating his primary facility to do these things here in Biaka County, and the plant that Mr. Griffin bought is a possibility. There are others interested, but Griffin said that, you know, if he had 2 companies that would go in there, we could use the space. That wouldn't bother him either. Plus, we still have space down here where it's in the industrial area, and on 42 where something could be built. This is one already up. So what we need is a resolution or something that would allow the county judge and the county attorney to negotiate an agreement with this Mr. Nino, Ryan, is it Nemo? Not Nemo.
Yeah.
Something close to that, yeah. But not obligating us to spend any money, to accept any liability or any ownership of anything. So this just kind of fell on our lap. And due to government regulations, which would be a nice chunk of change for us. We don't know exactly the amount, but the amount of electricity that will be produced in this unit, which would go down to the dam, as we go in and replace one of the gates. There's a picture on the back what it looks like. It's a hydraulic system, so it's not new technology. It's just a new use of old technology.
And then the electric be used here, or is it?
Now it would be bought by Duke, which owns the other power plant that's down there. There's a picture there on the back what the contraption looks like, and it all runs on water power and hydraulic. It's all old technology just put to a new use. And Corps of Engineers has identified in the United States 3,700 sites that could be possibly used for hydroelectric just here in the United States. And a lot of them are up and down the Ohio River Basin and the Mississippi River Basin. So a facility here would be a good location for them to assemble these things. They have prospects in sales in Australia, England. I think one was South Africa. But until the first one's built and proves that it works, nothing's going to happen. So it depends on whether we agree with you all agree that they can negotiate an agreement with this fellow. So whether we can, if it fails, we don't lose anything. If it succeeds, we make a lot of money.
At this point, we're really just, we're looking at it, kicking the tires, and we'll talk with it.
Right, but the man has the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission has given him until June to come up with an agreement with somebody like us, or forget about it for another year. And
Now, you talked to me ahead of time that
please,
nobody's done this anywhere else before.
no,
So, I mean, there's good and bad to go with it. The good is we get it on the ground floor.
we can make
If there's a
some-
possibility, even if they were to put this at McAlpin or Meldal or somewhere else, because we were their contracting agency,
It's still running right through us. I mean, just.
There's that part.
From here, but it doesn't have to be marvelous.
Well, it almost sounds too good.
Yeah.
We just fell into it, really. So, I'm not asking you to let them commit to spending any money, or accepting any liability, or even owning anything. Just to handle this electric as a commodity. I mean, we don't touch it. We don't store it. We just do the paperwork. We get paid, we take our cut.
The city of Williamstown has for a long time handled, they have their their own electric company, they have their own gas company, they have their own cable TV company. They handle it and therefore have created a lot of revenue.
There are several of them down the Ohio River communities that have their own electric company. So we need some kind of resolution about them to come to some kind of agreement with him, not
I guess,
bind us in any way that could cost us any money.
I guess, and we'll let Spike do this, create a resolution to show that we are willing to partner, or that we are interested and willing to partner and or proceed at no financial obligation or whatever.
Not liable for anything, don't have to own anything,
Yeah.
not liable for anything, not permitted to spend any funds.
It's like the simple thing, maybe just a letter, and a lot of times that's what it takes just to get something off the ground. But if we are willing to partner with this thing.
I'm kind of curious about the size of it. Or
Well,
where it
yeah.
might be located, or if it would do anything to
All that-
recreational boating.
I know, and all that's gotta be done. The Corps of Engineers has to come in, they have to study where this thing would go.
You indicated to me that it wouldn't be in the locks, it would be in the gate.
Get over in the gate, and the
Yeah.
Corps so far was fine with it, and actually, that would just eliminate a gate that they don't have to maintain. This company would maintain that gate for them, and it still allows it to function.
You got to believe that the Corps of Engineers is not gonna allow anything to
Right.
interfere with boating.
No.
Yeah, it sounds out there a little bit. I agree, but hey, you know, if it don't cost anything, it don't eat anything, and we don't have to put gas in it.
All we gotta do is a little paperwork.
Just do a little paperwork, you know, that's my kind of deal, so.
Well, that's the way these commodity dealers make all their money. They don't own everything. They just sit there at their desk and buy stuff and never take time to do it, to sell it, and make millions.
Parks, Jason?
Yes, sir, I got a question after you all get done,
Oh, okay.
whenever you take questions.
Okay, but anyway, is it a entertainable motion to let Spike and I just create the paperwork to take this to the next step without a financial obligation?
So moved.
Move. Second. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Yes, sir.
I got a question. Last year, we done a lot of research and stuff, and you was talking about the Speedway Boulevard and Church Lane, and the video news had done a lot of research on the subject. And all along, we said that the county had a right-of-way through there, but did not own that road. Okay, county equipment was used to maintain that road, and blacktop put on the road. I believe it was in April of last year, Mr. Schenkel was given a piece of paper, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, saying that the county did own the road. During that meeting, the magistrates voted to accept that road in, which the video news all along maintained that we illegally took the road in. They voted not to take Church Lane in. The magistrates, I believe Mr. Schenkel made the motion not to take it in. I believe Mr. Gullion seconded it, and it went 4-0 not to take Church Lane in. Now you're saying we had an insight over, it got put into the road system anyway, and now we're taking Speedway Boulevard out of the road system because of what we maintained all along, that we did not own Speedway Boulevard, that we had a right-of-way through it. My question is, who reimburses the taxpayers for the blacktop and stuff and the salt and equipment that was used to keep the road cleaned and maintained up on Speedway Boulevard?
Yeah.
We own the dirt. We have a deed to the dirt. The description of the road has been given to the county by deed. Judge Zubetti signed off on it. There was a paragraph, and that paragraph was kind of held back, and we took them at their word. But that paragraph says that the county does not have an obligation to maintain that road until that road is brought up to county road standards. Now, with that being said, there was some discussion, and it was taken into the road system and put into the maintenance list. And I understand what you're saying, and I don't know anything about the blacktop or how much or who's gonna reimburse. But with regard to the salt and with regard to the snow removal, I mean, even you and I have talked about that, even after this, there are people in this community that use that road, so the community would benefit, not just the private individual. For instance, the school, I believe, contacted Judge French at that time and asked him about that because they used that road rather than put the buses onto the interstate. I think there was a road count done also, and that's one of the more heavily used county roads at the time it was on the county road maintained list. So I think there might be a distinction between the snow removal and the salt. And that's going to be up to this administration how they do that and what they want to commit to on that. There are strong arguments for snow removal and that type of thing to keep it open. Because if it is privately owned, or I'm sorry, if it's publicly owned but it's not on our maintenance list, we have no obligation to and I think and when we've been talking here recently, that even in the snow emergency, that probably will still happen. But, you know, I don't want to speak for, the previous administration, but I believe the order was put on to not do that. There was a miscommunication and there was a lot of harsh words back and forth behind closed doors because there was to be no money spent on that road, even though it was on the list. But that's behind us. I think we're trying to move forward. We've taken it off of the maintenance list. We were to receive, I think this is where it came up, we were to receive money based on mileage.
Yeah.
Did you say anything about that?
Yeah, a lot of times that, when these roads go into the Northern Kentucky Ag, they are then processed through the state. The Ag District does this for them. This, sometimes it takes 2 years, 3 years, 5 years for this to make the trip through that process. It does not amount or does not affect our road monies greatly. And my theory is now that it was a mistake. We're not here to point fingers. We're not here to say this one said, that one said. We're here to fix the mistake and move on and learn from that mistake. And I think that everybody here will probably agree to that. Like I said, I spoke to the racetrack. They've got no problem with it. They may even assist in some of the maintenance. It's basically their road. Excuse me. But I would rather do what we've done. I feel like we fixed it. I feel like we clarified it. The thing that I do want people to realize that the road is not going to be closed down. It is a public road, and I think you and I looked at that. And as far as I'm concerned, let's let it die and move on. Everybody good with that?
I have one question.
Okay.
It's never been found where the fiscal court voted for George to sign that right away to begin with.
Yes, we've got that document.
You didn't find it?
We've got that document. Anybody that wants to view that document. That document was done in 2001. It was just that, a right-of-way with the statement of the road. In fact, this is the document that anybody wants to look at.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about for him to even sign that document. It was never brought before the fiscal court in the first place.
No. It's never,
So it's an illegal document.
It's never been brought, but that road has been in place. We've used it. I feel that it is a benefit to the county. I don't think it was a benefit to take care of it until it met the standards. I'm confident that at which time that the responsible people bring it up to standards, I'm confident that actually, I think the state will take it on. It only makes sense that the state would take a road that connects two major thoroughfares, and it's a 4-lane.
So even if, according to that document, even if they bring it up to county road standard, it's still not an ideal county road. And I've been at the table in Frankfurt, and the conversation has been repeated, and I think even, a few months ago when Ron Haynes was here from the district office about that road, you know, he reluctantly, I think, agrees, you know, I mean, that's a multi-lane road running from state road to state road, and, you know, it should be a state road. Of course, they got the same issues, you know, as it's been constructed in a way that they even want to begin to think about taking it on. So even if they did, we still, I think the county, I'm going out on a limb and speaking for them, but I think that the county's position will be is it still needs to be a state road.
Yeah, I think we agree with that. And, you know, it's hard to go back, and I don't like to look back, I always like to look forward. It's hard to go back 10 years and say exactly what circumstances or exactly what or how something happened. You know, I'm not going to do that. It's not fair to the people involved.
I'm assuming that there was, you know, we talked about resolutions tonight, resolutions given authority to do this. I'm sure there was a resolution authorizing Judge Zubedi to do and sign the things necessary to finish and get the speedway situation under control so they could come and do their thing.
I wish somebody could find it.
Well, there's no resolution at all, because I'm sure he signed deeds.
Well, nobody's found anything.
Well, I haven't looked, but I'm sure that it's been looked for.
But, you know, like I said, it's over. You know, this is 10 years ago. There were some misinterpretations of some documents last year. It's over. Let's move on. You know, we've got a lot of good things coming up. We've got a race coming in. We've got a factory that's getting ready to open up here and employ some people. There's good signs and good movement in the county as far as job prospects. Let's look forward to the good and learn from our mistakes. Everybody good with that?
Motion adjourned, I guess.
Motion adjourned. Got a motion? Second. All in favor? Ayes. All right. Just made it, didn't we, Joe?